na 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 na. It is time for Romania Explained video. Așteaptă-te, române.
Ambassador of Latin countries in the East, cherished but adopted members of the Slavs, and influenced by 3 distinct empires in the past. Romania is one of the most specific countries in the world. It's
Fair.
known to everyone mostly due to a faint mixture of legend and reality. Yet Romania is both overlooked and underestimated as a destination to explore. However, our video will make you visit there as fast as gigabytes flow through the country or gigabats fly over it.
Bruh. Already with the vampire jokes. Oh. Hey, can I just say, please do visit because we already have tourist prices, so our tourism is not for us. Oh man. Is the internet there particularly fast? Yes. Yes. We used to be the top 3 fastest internet. Now we are below top 5. Hopefully they'll rectify that soon. Che.
Romania, as it's called by its citizens, is the 12th largest country in Europe with
I'm sorry, is this funny that we call it Romania, not Romania? The accent is very off. I'm not shitting on his pronunciation. He actually did a better job than half the people I know have been pronouncing the country's name. It's just very funny. Oh, he got confused with Italian. Honestly, I heard Italians, the way they say Romanian, right, for language, and I'm just like, oh, that's also weird. It's also different.
with 238,391 kilometers squared, putting it between UK and Belarus on the list. And if we look globally, it is 81st, sandwiched by Ghana and Laos. Yet, where it matters more, on the map, Romania is neighbored by Bulgaria to the south, then Serbia, Hungary, Ukraine and their younger sibling Moldova.
Implying people know where those are. Implying people know that geographically. Oh, chat, here's the trick, okay? The real trick to knowing where Romania is. Look for the fish on the map. Okay? Just look somewhere like France or UK, because maybe you know, or Germany, maybe you know where those are. And then look for the fish on the map. That is the best way to describe it, okay? Like, look at that. It literally looks like a fish. Don't tell me it does not. And
their younger sibling Moldova. All these borders came to a total of 3,195 kilometers, with the longest one being with Moldova at 681 kilometers. Romania also has a coastline of 245 kilometers with important Black Sea to the east. When it comes to the population, Romania is 9th in Europe with 19,237,000
I mean what?
people, putting it above the so densely populated Netherlands.
We're 9th in Europe. Damn, it's been so long. It's been so long since like I looked at population density. I'm just like, we're 9th.
Although there is quite a big drop-off between 8th placed Poland and their somewhat opposites we're visiting now. Measured with all countries
we're
of the
losing
world,
a lot of
Romanians
people,
come
to be
the
fair.
62nd spot to find their numbers below Kazakhstan and above Malawi. Down south sits the capital of Romania, which is called Bucharest. This is by far the most populated city with a bit of over 2 million people. Then we have a few major cities that all have about the same population of just over 300,000 people. There's Timișoara in the west, the central position Cluj-Napoca, and Iași in the northeast. And then, of course, Constanta, which sits right next to the Black Sea. Romania absolutely dominates the surroundings in terms of population, as it has around 2 times or way more citizens than all of the countries to its nearby south and west, plus Moldova. And a similar ratio applies to the territory.
Look how beautiful it is. Look how beautiful it is.
The only neighbor slapping them on the fingers here is Ukraine, which does to Romania what they do to their neighbors, dwarfing them in terms of population and landmass. And just earlier I mentioned Poland being the opposite of Romania, and what I mean by that is that Poland is a Slavic Catholic country, while Romania is a Latin yet Orthodox country. That's right. Despite what most people think, most likely people who don't subscribe to Countries Explained, Romania is usually classified as a Slavic country by default, while it's not. So if you don't want to make a fool out of yourself in the future, you better hit that subscribe button below, so we can teach you all about the countries of the world. The Romanian language also falls into the category of...
A lot of people are like, hello, fellow Slav, and I'm like...
Romance languages, alongside Portuguese, Spanish, Italian and French. There's also the Romanian language. And I'm pretty sure you wouldn't think these languages descend from the same family, now would you? But I guess if we took a closer look at the name of the country, we can see that the clue was kind of in front of us all along.
Yeah, you'd think so. But people can't read, man. Like, I am not kidding you when I tell you that people think Romania is the capital of Italy, or somewhere in Italy.
Although being the island that it is in the Slavic Sea of countries did have its effects. And for instance, the Romanian word for yes is the same one that the Russians, Serbs, Bulgarians and others use, which is da.
Da. Da, 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 da. Dun, 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 dun.
But it's even harder to define Romania in much more tangible matters than language, like geographical placement, as it finds itself at the end of Central Europe, the edge of the Balkan Peninsula, exactly. And not quite in the far east of Europe.
Honestly, I really love our geography. Totally unbiased, okay? But I think our country has really cool geography.
From these three directions came the empires that marked the Romanian culture and influenced the crafting of such a unique blend. The Austro-Hungarians, the Ottomans and the Russians. And even now, the country's status is a bit hard to detail, as it finds itself in the European Union, but not in the Schengen zone of passport-free movement. The euro, which we know, isn't the official currency of the country, even though it joined the organization in 2007.
We're adopting the euro slower than others that joined faster. And we have no plans yet. Yeah, our currency is RON, RON, also known as Leu, which is lion, or lei, plural.
The Romanian leu still changes hands.
Lau! Oh, God. Leu. The proper way to say it.
And if we were to exchange this currency for the euro, we get about 0.2 euros for 1 leu.
Bruh, don't remind me.
1 leu, on the other hand...
1 leu! I'm sorry, his pronunciation is so cute. It's adorable. Does your money look like Monopoly money? This is how our money looks like. Very plasticky. Marau! Yes, shop. You want money too? Work for it. I don't hear you working that wheel. That's what I thought.
Consists of 100 bani. It's proving hard for the Romanians to tear away from their lions, which is the meaning of leu, although the banknotes being made of plastic might have something to do with it. Zoomed in within its spacious border...
It's more among the fact that corruption, root of all problems, and changing things from an economy perspective, that's rough. They're plastic? Yes. They're made out of plastic.
Romania is easier to describe. Dominated by the Carpathian mountain range, the third longest in Europe with a stretch of 1,500
Our
kilometers,
mountains are beautiful.
Which kind of splits the land in half.
Skiing is very nice
range,
as
we
well.
also find the highest point in the country, the Moldovani Peak, sitting 2,544 meters above sea level. The Apusini, meaning west, mountains put the finishing dot on this mountain chain. A temperate continental climate rules the land, with summer temperatures peaking at around 30 degrees Celsius.
summer temperature peaking at milk. Milk jump scare. Were you scared? That being said, we wish it was peaking at that value. I don't know how old the video is, but our temperature is whack now. Our temperature is so whack. Like, where is that? The video is from 1 year ago. Okay, so in Bucharest, it peaked at 46 degrees this year. Celsius.
The country also has a nice mix of landscapes with the already mentioned mountains, but also fertile green fields in the south and a mixture of hills, grassland and swamps in the east. But arguably the second most—
We have swamps? Like, we have swamps? I know we have lakes, but swamps? Oh, do you get snow? We still get some snow around the mountain areas, and very rarely in the south. Climate change. Yeah, I'm wondering if we have swamps because of climate change, honestly. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just like, huh. But, yeah, sadly, we have a lot less snow nowadays. We used to have a lot of snow. Like, it used to be a regular thing. Then snow started appearing for my birthday in May, which is weird. And now in December, January, we have like 15, 20 degrees. Like, even now when you go outside, it's like 20 degrees Celsius. It's just like, yay. So maybe sometimes you might get a bit of snow, but not really. We're pretty screwed now. Growing up, I did have a lot of snow.
Most defining geographical feature of Romania, after the Carpathian Mountains, is Europe's second longest river, the Danube.
We have a swamp in Bucharest called the Văcărești Natural Reserve, and you can visit it. Wait, that's a swamp? Huh. I never knew it's considered a swamp. That's like, huh. Yes, we do have swamps then.
About 40% or 1,075 kilometers of this mighty river flows either through or adjacent to Romanian territory. And Romania's landscape has a huge part in contributing to this river, as 98% of Romania's rivers spring from the Carpathian Mountains. And all of them, directly or indirectly, end up being tributes to the Danube. But something maybe even more remarkable than the river itself,
or as we know it, Dunăre,
or at least very impressive, is the Gondor-like statue the Romanians have carved onto the stone of the riverbank to honor the last king of Dacia. No, not the car company, but Deceval.
Imagine people knowing the car company for Dacia. I think, like, I was talking to people abroad and a lot of them don't know Dacia as well.
Last king of Dacia who fought the Roman emperors to preserve the independence of his country. And it is safe to say that this river has had great meaning to Romania over the years, serving as a natural border almost entirely towards Bulgaria, considerably with Serbia, and the tiniest bit with Moldova, and then with Ukraine. Romania has gained more from the Danube than even John Strauss. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, Strauss wrote one of his most famous waltzes inspired by the Danube in his piece The Blue Danube. But even these days, the Danube plays a vital role for Romania, especially due to the Constanta port, the largest one on the Black Sea, serving as a gateway between the east and the west. From here, about 74% of
You have a lot of Dacias in Portugal. Damn! That's cool.
Romania's exports go up the stream to the EU countries. And speaking about exports, Romania's economy is helped a lot by being the fourth largest producer of oil in the European Union, and the largest natural gas producer. The economy is also driven by the car manufacturer Dacia, which is the country's biggest company in terms of revenue and accounted for 8% of the country's total exports. It's now owned by Renault, and the company's only factory is located in the small town of Mioveni, in the Argeș county, which is one of 41 administrative units in Romania. Yet historically, the country is divided into three main territories. First, there's Wallachia in the fertile south. Then in the northwest we have Transylvania, and I know you've been waiting for this, haven't you? Well, keep waiting, I'm covering the myths in just a bit. And then finally we have Moldavia in the northeast. And no, we didn't forcefully unite the two siblings. You see, the country is called Moldova in English and the region Moldavia. These parts were quite populated in the 1st century BC when the kingdom of Dacia united. and which the earlier mentioned King Decibel resisted the Romans in the 1st century AD. Yet the empire couldn't be denied, and in the 2nd century founded the province of Roma Dacia across Transylvania. This combination of Roman and Dacian cultures marks the beginning of the Romanians' ethnogenesis. After all, the country is named after the local name for Roman or Rome, hence the Latin connection. Even though the majority of today's country wasn't under Roman rule for long, the area became the staging route for tribes of Goths, Gepids, Avars, Slavs and Huns coming in to loot, pillage, rule and migrate. Since the late 9th century,
we have a lot of
Magyars,
influence.
which is the Hungarians,
we have so much influence and wars and like shit that happened that shaped our language and our territory. It is fascinating and crazy at the same time.
Entered the phrase and stayed in it well until today. Saxon and settlers are settled by the King of Hungary in the 12th century, with the latter still relevant, alive and kicking, even though you most likely haven't heard of them. In the 13th century, the mentioned territories of Wallachia, Moldavia and Transylvania are established, with the latter being subjugated under Magyar rule, briefly uniting freely under Michael the Brave at the start of the 7th century. Yet his fame is in the dark shadow.
Michael the Brave, I was like, Mihai Viteazu. My brain was just like, Michael the Brave? It's so weird hearing things in English. It's just like, oh man. Mihai Bravo. I was like, whoa.
Shadows of a far more globally known figure, Vlad III of Wallachia, Vlad the Impaler. A ruler so ruthless, he served as an inspiration for the mythical figure of Dracula, with his father's title, Dracul, meaning dragon, played a role. And even though he was from Wallachia...
Excuse me? Yes, Vlad Tsipish. Jesus Christ, my cat's just like... I don't want to hear about Vlad Tsipish, not again.
Yeah, Transylvania is eternally connected to the vampire lore, but Romania too as a whole has this mythical aura over it. Although Romanians shouldn't really fret at all. Sure, there are these stories, if it is stories, you tell me, but they also do have a much nicer tradition for the afterlife.
I don't know, man, I haven't seen anyone else in the last 200 years as a vampire. No other vampires are on me. Can't confirm.
Like the Mary Cemetery, the famous place is known for these brightly colored tombstones. And also because they do, and I'm not...
Wait. When did we get to the Happy Cemetery?
This place is known for this much nicer tradition for the afterlife, like the Mary Cemetery.
Yes, much nicer tradition. Yeah. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. The Happy Cemetery, Cimitiru Vesel, is very much worth visiting if you have way up north. But it is definitely not our tradition, and it is definitely not something that a lot of people do. And it's also very depressing. It's named the Happy Cemetery, but everything that you read there is incredibly depressing. Like, I showed Chat, I think, a video when I went there, and every single plaque that I was reading was making us more sad by the second. It was like, yeah, just... I guess if you're a foreigner and you can't read the language, not in general, just our language, it looks kind of nice. What the heck? Are you kidding me? They spun the wheel and they jumped off of it. Now they're just watching it. They're just watching it spin. Oh. So the reason it's named like that is because it's meant to celebrate life and the accomplishments of someone in their life as they passed away. That is the reason why it's named the Happy Cemetery. It's looking on someone's life rather than mourning them. But you end up with stuff like, my baby was 1 month old and they didn't even get to walk and crawl and they perished way too soon. It's just like, what kind of freaking, okay, next one. My entire life I sacrificed for my family and I slaved away at the fields and I died alone because they didn't even come visit me. And I'm just like, what? Happy cemetery, guys. Happy. The idea is happy. The execution, not so much.
The famous place is known for these brightly colored tombstones. And also because they do, and I'm not lying now, have a tax for black magic. So,
what?
Romania is not the place to live if you're a witch, apparently.
What? I never heard about that one before. And I live here. A tax on black magic? Nah. We have plenty of people pretending to be witches, don't worry.
Moving back to completely real history, the Ottoman, Habsburg and Russian empires started fighting and ruling over parts of Romania through the Middle Ages. All until Alexandru Luan Cuza is proclaimed prince of both Moldavia and Wallachia, which unite as Romania in 1862. Rejoined by the more famed Transylvania after World War I and fought on the sides of the Allies. In World War II, Romania first joined the Axis side, then changed sides as the Soviets were winning in 1944. Nicolae Ceausescu
and then change sides, yep. That survival instinct kicked in for us. We're like, you know what? Change sides, exactly. Nicolae Ceausescu for the naming, if you wanted it pronounced.
Become the leader and the infamous dictator of the new socialist country of the Warsaw Pact, leaving behind a very impressive legacy of the placement of the parliament, the heaviest building in the world, before his demise in 1989 and the revolution. Another, perhaps more positive thing if you're into sports, came in the socialist years when the football club Steaua became the first Eastern European club ever to win the Champions Cup title.
Very interesting that there's a focus on the parliament and our football team. Steaua.
Continuing on the sports side of things,
that's why they think you're Italian. Oh my god.
The country has had a big legacy in gymnastics with Nadia Comaneci as the big front figure. She won a total of 9 Olympic medals, more than any other Romanian female. Today, however, the tennis player Simona Halep is perhaps the country's biggest sports star with a couple of Grand Slams titles on her belt.
I think they're both very well known.
In entertainment, it's the Marvel star Bucky Barnes or the Winter Soldier played by Sebastian Stan, who might be the biggest star the country has right now. Well, him and of course the electronic music hitmaker Ina.
me with the music going like, who? If it's not rock or metal or classic, I'm kind of like, eh?
It is safe to say that Romania is very interesting, and that a video of a couple of minutes or a weekly tour would not do it justice. Luckily, moving to this unique place might be a great option, because underneath the...
Honestly, I was planning on doing a Halloween, like going around Halloween to show you guys an IRL stream, but I think we're gonna do a Christmas one where I can show you Christmas decorations and stuff. I think I like that more as an idea. Take care, Tara. So yeah, I can show you a bit around Bucharest at the very least. For touring outside of Bucharest, well, I'd have to dig up old videos or go... I guess I could take a 12-hour train trip. A 12-hour train trip and just share that with everyone.
Castles run the third fastest internet network in Europe, and it has been for the longest time the leader of speed on the old continent. But if fast internet, interesting history and fascinating myths isn't enough, here's another reason for settling down permanently in Romania. They actually lead the home ownership rate globally, so renting battles aren't as fierce here. So from gigabytes to gigabats, hopefully you learn something about Romania, even though we only just scratched the surface.
True, we do have decent amount of people being homeowners. It is a life commitment. This is really old. No, it's 1 year old. But like, it is still true. Like, you can become a homeowner at a decent rate. It's just like you pay it back in what, 35 years, 40 years. But yeah, I think they did a decent explanation of the country. Honestly, they covered some of the history. They covered a bit of the geography of it, showcased some like beautiful landscape, kind of explained some of the popularity stuff. You wait for a relative to pass away and inherit it. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm an only child, so I'm gonna inherit. I'm gonna inherit the apartment that I live in right now. Oh, it's like, yeah, I spawned in an okay family. I don't have to fight my sibling over a house. And by a house, I mean an apartment, because having a house here is slightly luxurious. But yeah, it's honestly a pretty nice country to visit for people. Like, people here are very welcoming. They're very friendly, as long as they don't get to your wallet. I'm sorry, it had to be said. It had to be said. But most people are very, very welcome, and you'll have a good time of being included in culture stuff and being invited over, especially if you rent a house instead of going to a hotel. Like, renting a Airbnb thingy, whatever those are called. Not in Bucharest though. No, even in Bucharest they're pretty friendly. From my personal experience, a lot more beggars in Bucharest though, that you have to be wary of.